welcome back to the podcast, everybody. I think it's episode 17. Wow, we're getting through these. Let's talk about last week. I did 2 gigs last week. First of all, I closed Step On Comedy. It was Hops and Boogie in Sale. That sounds about right to me. I might be getting the venue name a little bit wrong. I've done this place twice before, so it's a place that I'm quite familiar with. They messaged me, said, do you fancy coming closing the show? I thought, absolutely I would. That sounds fantastic to me. I went there. Now, it's been raining all day, so it was a bit more quiet in there than usual. Every time I've been there previously, it's been packed. This time, it was a bit more half full is probably the best way to say it, to be completely fair to all sides. And it was decent. I enjoyed going out there, telling some new jokes, you know, hanging out in the back, just relaxing, not having to be on these like long trips in stand-up where you're in maybe Hull or, you know, where I've been recently, and you're thinking, oh, I can't wait to get home afterwards. This time I thought, you know what, just relax, take it easy. We're on the roll down to weekend, went out there. I've got this joke about Declan Rice that I'm working on at the moment, and I was able to kind of like play around and explore a few options that I hadn't really thought of before. So that was nice. That's one thing as a comedian that like I love to do. Every comedian loves to do this, is like they've got an idea. It's not fully formed yet, but they're kind of playing around with it, and this is a bit of an idea, and that's a bit of an idea, and how about this angle, and how about that angle, how about this reference, how about that reference, and some of them go down well, and some of them don't, and you start to kind of like whittle down the ice statue of the joke. Like when you start with a joke, it's like this big slab, and you go, wow, there's got so much potential. You know, like how like an artist will have like an ice sculpture, and it's just a block of ice, and then like they whittle it away and they melt bits away, and then they turn it into like whatever, like one of those Greek muscular statues or something. That's what a joke is, and you've got to kind of whittle it away, and you start off thinking there's this potential with it, but you don't know how it's going to go, and sometimes you go too far and it doesn't really work, and you end up absolutely wasting that block of ice. But sometimes you chisel something away and you go, oh my goodness, I'm so close to getting this, I want it. And then you just round it off a little bit, a little polishing. I don't know how ice sculptures work. I don't know why I'm using this as an analogy. But yeah, that's the process, and that's what I was doing there. I had a good bit of time. Luckily, it wasn't raining on the way back. Came back, good times, happy days. Then Saturday, I was doing my solo show. Now, between you and me, I had not looked at my solo show for a month. And it's something really you should be working on all the time if you plan on doing it. If you plan on doing it, you should be working on it all the time, and at least having it in the back of your mind to be improving it in places. Now, when I looked back at it on the way to the gig, I was looking at it and I was like, oof, I'm not sure about this. There's quite a lot of bits in here that I want to replace, that I want to get rid of myself. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when I'm up there? Now, luckily, I didn't actually need to rely on my notes too much when I was on stage, because for an hour-long show, it's hard to get through without my notes. I'll be completely honest, because you lose track of where you are, what you've talked about, so I like to have it at the side of me, just to glance down at. And luckily, I didn't need to do it too much. But there's maybe 1 or 2 jokes that I left out and I didn't do, and I kind of feel like I've outgrown them. Like, because this is the thing, when you start a stand-up, is you just try and come up with anything that people will laugh at. Literally anything. Anything that you think's kind of funny that people might laugh at, you'll do that. You'll put it out there for people to hopefully enjoy. And then you do your first few ones, and then you go, right, okay, well, this one actually doesn't get a laugh. I only do it because I'm trying to fill 5 minutes, but no one really ever laughs at it, and I think it's a good idea, but it's not working. So I'll take that away. I've got this new idea, and I'll put that in. Slowly but surely, you get to the point where all of your jokes get a laugh every now and then. Then you go, okay, well, I don't want to laugh every now and then. I want to laugh all the time. So then you end up with one joke that always gets a laugh, and then the rest need work, and then you start to, again, whittle it away. It's that eye sculpture thing. When I'm at this stage of an hour, because what I'm trying to get is your standards change as well. So at the start, you're just happy to do 5 minutes of anything that people will listen to. By the time you're getting up and up and up, like, so for example, when you get to the stage of like a club 20, and a really good 20-minute set in a club, you want every single joke to get a good laugh or better every single time. You like, because you don't want to do a joke and it just gets in a club. 20 minutes, you're being judged on this. You really want to like pit yourself against other people and get judged against them, and you're in the easiest spot because you've just made it into that position. And if you're getting like, then it's like, okay, I need to really, really work at this. So your standard raises over time. I'm glad to say that I've now looked at this show and there's jokes in there that like I feel like I've outgrown, but I now need to replace them to fill a full hour show that fits in with the idea. It's only a loose idea. I'm happy to put anything in that works as comedy, but I like it to be, as close to the idea as possible, which is basically the story of my life. Obviously, I could do a joke about, imagine we were all Martians and we're all made of marshmallows. We'd be Marsh Squared. Oh, I don't know. I'm just riffing. I don't have anything like that. My mind doesn't work in those kind of alternative ways, and some people are able to do that, and some people can't really think in those kind of abstract ways. But yeah, I went and did the solo show, and I'd sold about somewhere between a quarter and a half of the tickets. So I nowhere near what I would refer to as good enough for myself, but I'm pretty sure I had the highest ticket price for the entire festival. And so that gave me like an edge of being like, okay, well, at least like I valued myself here. Even if I've not sold the full tickets, what if I'd sold half? Who's to say that like all the tickets would have sold? There's no to say that. Like, so just to keep that price is good. I won't say who because I don't want to like put them on blast, but someone had a show at the same time as mine. And I know that he wasn't happy with, because he did a free show at the same time as mine in a room half the size, and he filled it. He absolutely filled it. Sell-out show, but it's free tickets. He was not. And then after you do the free tickets, it's like I mentioned last week, you do pay what you want afterwards. And he was not happy with the amount of money. And he told me the amount of money, and I'll be honest, I wasn't happy for him. I thought that they've done you over there. The audience have done you over. They've purposely not put their hand in the pocket. Even if people were like being like snide, you should have got way more than that. I would even say, even if people were being snide, he should have got about 10 times as much as he got. That's how poorly the audience gave to his show. Now, one of the big things about a free show is you have to really, really, really hammer that speech. Maybe he didn't do that because I know it's his first time he's done the solo show, so maybe that's the reason why. But when he said that, I was really kind of like down on his audience, even though I didn't see them, because to know that how little they paid him, I thought, that's not right, that. They shouldn't have done that, to be honest with you. Whereas, like I say, I didn't have to worry about that with mine. I could just go up, do my show, because I'd set the ticket price. They were all paying a price to get in. They don't need to pay anything on the way out. I got good feedback from not everyone, because I didn't speak to everyone, but everyone who I did speak to after my show that had been in there gave me good feedback, which was nice as well. For me as well, it flew by pretty quickly. I was expecting it to maybe drag a little bit, maybe to get lost a little bit here and there, and have to be like, oh, actually, I don't know. I've actually only got about half an hour's worth that I really, really like. But in the end, I did about 45, 50 minutes, so I was happy. In fact, no, I say that. It was 42 minutes something, because my camera filmed for 43 minutes. So it'll take like a minute for me to like get on stage after setting it up and then get back off stage and stuff like that. It would be 42 minutes something for the show, which is okay. You want it to be about 50 minutes though, so I need to maybe fill a bit more, 8 more minutes. Again, it was less than half full. It was less than half full, so I know that I need to, one, do better with my advertising, because I didn't really do much to advertise it, and that's completely on me. Jack Kelly and Jimmy Shirley did a split show straight after mine in the same room, and they did multiple videos online, and they did paid advertisement for online to get people in, and that's what you should be doing. You should be doing those things, and you should be doing all that you can to draw a crowd into your show. Now, I didn't do those things, not because I didn't want to, I just was really unorganised with it and didn't really get around to doing it. I think I put an advert out online in terms of like an unpaid advert where I just put the poster and was like, hey guys, come and see me. I talked about it in my last podcast, but I didn't really go out of my way. I actually had a few ideas in the week running up to it, thinking, oh, I want to record this kind of an advert for it, put that out online, and hopefully this will get a bit of traction, but I never really got round to it. So that's kind of my own laziness that I need to really get better at. I think I need to create myself an admin calendar, because I've got like an events calendar, things that I'm actually doing. So for example, on Saturday I've got a gig, so that's in my calendar already. Things like the Champions League final, me and my mates from childhood are meeting up for that. That's in my diary already. All the England games for the World Cup, those are in my diary already, because I've got plans for those nights to watch the game and spend it with people and stuff like that. But I don't have an admin diary. Now, what I ideally would do with an admin diary is block things in that I need to do. So, for example, in the build-up to a solo show, I'll be like, right, X amount of time before, post about it. So maybe like the day before, the week before, the month before, 2 months before, 3 months before. So regular updates about it, so loads of people are seeing it. Hopefully people who are in the area as well, and hopefully that'll push tickets to people in those areas, and that'll help me sell more tickets, because if people don't know that I'm on, how are they going to come and see me? So the only people who really saw me would be people who were already going to go to shows at the festival. They just looked at what was on, looked at their time of availability, and thought, you know what, he's going, there's a show here for this price, there's a show here for free. They obviously all went to the free show instead, which you would do. If there's two people you never heard of before, you're going to go to the one. That's another thing that I need to work on as well. Work on my online presence, work on my presence in general, let people know me a lot more. It helps that I've got like, 90,000 followers across social media, but that doesn't just automatically make sure that you can sell out every venue that you go to. You need to be working on this stuff. You need to work towards it. So I think that's one thing that I need is more of a rigid structure for how I'm going to do this admin. I'd also need to maybe put in, apply for this gig by this date, because every now and then you do that, you'll message someone, you'll be like, oh, hiya mate, I'm supposed to come back and do your gig, have you got any? And they're like, oh, do me a favour, message me in 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, I definitely will. And then by the time 2 weeks rolls around, you've forgotten because so many other things have happened in the build-up to it. And then you don't get around to it. So that's a gig that you've lost that you potentially could get. And I think every gig that you do and every positive step that you make, so speaking to people, networking, posting out on social media, whatever it is, writing comedy, every single thing is like the reverse of the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's going to help you to be a sprinting camel. And at the moment, you've got all these straws on your back. And every gig just flicks a straw off and you start to get a little bit more agile and a little bit stronger, because now you've been carrying all that weight, but it's a little bit lighter. So you've got the extra strength from carrying it, but you can move a bit faster because that one straw's not dragging you down. And then you can just keep going, keep going. What I'm trying to say is I want to be a camel, guys. I want to be a camel or a deer like my little mate over here. But yeah, so the show was fun. I went down with my mate James. Oh, this is one thing. A guy threatened to come and see me, if you know what I mean. He threatened to come and see me. I'll be seeing you, mate. I'll be coming to see you. Yeah. And this is the thing. So, like, I was having a bit of a thing back and forth. It's no secret. I get a lot of racist abuse on social media. We can go back to actually the gig on Thursday. The gig on Thursday at the Hops and Boogie was... I was sat at the back and I was talking to a comedian who was running the show. His name is Monty Wilson. And obviously I had my beard recently and he's not seen me since I've not had the beard. And he's like, oh, this is new. You know, where's the beard gone? And I'm saying, oh, you know, I just kept it for winter just because it was going to be cold. And I thought I was always going to shave it, and now it's gone. And he thought, oh, I thought you might have shaved it because you might have got more abuse when you had the beard. And I said, no. I said, listen, I don't need the beard or not. There's these people out there who are intent on sending abuse to people like me, regardless of if I've got a beard or not. He went, really? I went, I'll tell you what, let's open my Instagram now. I opened my Instagram. I had about 5 comments since I'd got off the train, or off the tram, which was the last time I was on my phone, to when I arrived at the venue. 2 of those were abusive messages out of the last 5. So in those 8 minutes, I'd got 3 positive or neutral comments and 2 negative comments. So I was showing him as like an example of like, this is what happens. But the thing is, like, when you're British Pakistani, when you're British Muslim, you get used to it. So to me, this is a normal thing. Like, I know some people might not see, I mean, it probably isn't normal, to be fair. And there probably is a psychological thing wrong with me that I think this is normal because I've dealt with it now for decades. But I'm just so used to it that it doesn't really have any of an effect on me. However, let's talk about this guy. So then there's this guy, right? And he's messaging me and he was saying some racist stuff or something like that. And he's like, right, how about I come see you then? And like, the stuff that he was messaging was like quite extreme, what I was saying. And I said, listen, you sound like you're a danger to women and children. Seek help, please. Like, and I was being genuine to him. I was like, listen, you don't seem right in the head. He was talking about all Muslims will be eradicated from the UK. And then I said, what do you mean? Does that mean women and children as well? He goes, yeah, women and children. I said, does that mean you're going to harm them? And he's like, yeah, because you lot, I mean, like, you men need to leave, and if you don't take them with you, then it's on your head what happens to you. And I'm like, listen, it's very dangerous what you're saying here. Can you imagine a Muslim said that every Buddhists will be eradicated from the UK. Every man, woman, and child. And if the men don't leave, we'll come for them first. And then if they don't take the women with them, they would. Can you imagine the thought? That is a terroristic threat. What he was saying. So I just keep copy and pasting on the same comment to him because I want him to know what he's saying is not right. And I did genuinely think that he needed help. So like, you're a danger to women and children. Please seek help. And everything that he wrote, I would just keep sending that to him. And then he was like, how about I come and see you then? How about I come see you this Saturday? And I said it again. You're a danger to women and children. Please seek help. He goes, right. And then he's putting laughing faces going, see what you'll have to say this Saturday at the Storey auditorium in Lancaster. And I was like, you're a danger to women and children. Please seek help. In the end, he stopped replying. I'd forgotten all about it. I was on my way down there with my mate James, who comes to comedy shows with me. And then I realised on the way down, so I said, hey, listen, let me tell you this. Because I would feel bad if something happens and I've not told you. I don't want to put you in danger, but basically, there's a guy threatening to come and see me at this gig. And James is like, what do I do? Like, what if he goes to attack you? I said, listen, if he comes to attack me, you can just sit down. Don't worry about it. Like, unless he's got a knife, do not do anything. Like, you don't need to get involved. Like, don't worry. I don't want you to get hurt for the sake of someone coming after me, right? That's nothing to do with you. But if they got a knife, then yeah, I'm probably going to need a bit of help, to be honest with you. I can't take on someone with a knife, I don't think. Which we're going to get to that in a second, actually. So yeah, this guy was threatening to come and see me at the gig, which again, I forgot about till I was there. Well, till I was on the way there. And then after I told him, I'd forgotten about it again. And then we're on the way back, I was like, oh, that guy didn't show up, did he? Which was a good thing. Listen, don't get me wrong. I don't want anybody coming to see me in an aggressive manner. If you've got aggressive thoughts towards me, go and seek help. Go and find... I'm not one of these guys who's going to be like, oh yeah, you know what you're going to do with it? Yeah, I'd like to see you try. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not going to bait you into doing something bad because nothing good can come from that. What happens? Either one, he successfully comes out there and he beats me up, or two, he's unsuccessful. He comes out there and I beat him up. I don't want to do that. I don't want to beat somebody up. I don't want anything to do with this person. I want them to just get help. So that's what I was just trying to get out of that scenario. But yeah, it was fun being in Lancaster. Jimmy and Jack's show was after mine, so then me and James sat around. James went to school with Jack. So that was part of the thing that I told him when I was doing the show. I was like, oh, Jack's the one after me. We can stick around if you want to see Jack's show. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. That sounds good. So we stuck around. We watched Jack and Jimmy's like split show, which is interesting to see. I like the format that they did. Typically a split show would be half an hour here, half an hour there, but no, what Jack did is Jack went on and he hosted the show. He got everyone into it. Hey guys, make some noise if you've been to comedy before, make some noise if you've seen me before, etc, etc. Right, I'm going to bring Jimmy on. Jimmy went on, he did half an hour, and then Jimmy came off, and then Jack went on and he closed with about 15-20 minutes. It was nice to see that kind of dynamic going on there. I did like that. The acts from before came out. He came to Jack's show as well, so it was nice to see him as well. And that's where we had the chat about the audience, his audience before, and how I didn't like what his audience did in terms of the bucket collection. Because I get it from a consumer standpoint. If you're told it's a free show and then afterwards they go, oh, by the way, you need to pay us some money, you do feel a little bit ripped off. So these shows should always be labelled as pay what you want and not free entry. I do have an issue when they're labelled as free entry. There should always be a big sticker saying pay what you want after the show. So, and then after the show, you can tell them, go, listen guys, this is the deal. You've come in for free. And it's a pay what you want kind of gig, so you can pay me now whatever you want. And if you've got this is the thing, if they've got no money, they can just tell you. And you can even say, listen, if you don't have any money, how about you follow me on social media, and that can be your payment. You can just follow me on social media. I get a new follower out of it. Then hopefully next year I come again, and maybe tickets are a £5, and maybe you can afford it then. And you know I'm coming next time, and you think, you know what, I'm going to give them a £5 next time, because that's what they could do. You can build up from a free show to a £5, and then further on and further on. But yeah, but from the same standpoint, all these people have purposely gone out knowing it's the comedy festival and it's a full room. And I know for a fact that there were 4 people in there ruining it. Well, at least one of those 4 people were ruining it, because then those people turned up at Jack's show and Jack and Jimmy weren't happy with them straight from the get-go. They were like, listen, you were trying to ruin the show from before. Don't be doing that here. So I know for a fact that they were trying to ruin that show. People should be going, do you know what? We've come out and experienced this. Whatever you're putting in, even if it's a couple of quid, like, they should be putting something in. So yeah, That's my second rant about that. But overall, I was glad to do it. It got me I felt like a proper comedian again. I felt like a proper comedian because I'm spending time with my friends. I'm also doing my own show. I'm seeing their show. We're hanging out a little bit. I liked that vibe and that little mix-up and being somewhere. And Kelly McAteer, who does stand-up comedy herself, and she runs a gig in Preston, she came to my show herself. That was nice to see. It was nice to see other stand-up comedians coming to support me and see my show. That was good. So... yeah, I do want to work on my show more again, and it is one of my goals I've got for this year, is to work on my show again, make it better, fill it with more stuff that I want to be in there. And I was telling you before that it lasted 43 minutes. This is another thing, is if the audience was more full, there would have been like longer periods of laughter, because that happens with like the more people you've got in a room. And when there's longer periods of laughter, there's longer gaps between each joke, and then all of a sudden what's 43 minutes might be 52. It can be like a drastic jump like that, where it hits the time, and I think it will hit the time in a full room. So that's something that, again, work on it myself, do good advertising, so then I can actually do this solo show in front of more people. I do want to do it eventually in Bolton, but I'm a little trigger shy to just announce the show in Bolton and do it now. So I don't feel like the show's finished yet, and I want to do it when it's finished, but I think eventually I need to go, do you know what? I'm doing it in Bolton, I'm putting it out there, and I'm going to have a good night for everyone. And speaking of which, Uncle Peter K, he is doing his tour show at the Albert Halls in Bolton, back where he did his famous DVD about 25 years ago now. He's going back there for 3 or 4 nights, and tickets are only available to people with a BL postcode, people like me, people who live in Bolton. Now, I'll be honest, Peter, I want to open for you. I do, I'd love to open for you. He's doing this for Bolton Hospice, and he's doing this as obviously a free thing for Bolton Hospice, and all the proceeds are going to go to them, which is an amazing thing that he's doing for Bolton Hospice 1, and for the Bolton people 2, the fact that tickets are only available to them. I would love that opportunity as a Bolton comedian, as a new comedian, someone who's like looked up to Peter for a long time, someone who my brother went to school with him, so I've bumped into him many times in the past. Now as an adult, I'm doing stand-up myself, I'd love that opportunity to get out there and support Peter K. Because one, it would mean so much to me to get involved in a night like that, something where the money's all going to a great cause, and you're supporting someone who is a genuine legend, not just in the industry that I'm in stand-up comedy, but the town that I'm from. Bolton, Peter K is synonymous with Bolton. There's 2 people really that are synonymous with Bolton in the last like 20 odd years. It's Peter K and JJ Okocha, funnily enough. JJ Okocha is the second one that everyone mentions. He's not from Bolton, obviously. He's a Nigerian bloke who works in Bolton, and an absolute legend for the town. But yeah, I love to support Peter. I'd love to do stuff to support the hospice as well. I remember when I was a kid and when I used to be in the school choir, we went and sang at Bolton Hospice, and at the time I never knew what hospice was, and my mum just explained it to me as a child, like it's a bit like the hospital but for more sick people. And I was like, well, the hospital's full of sick people. I mean, you don't understand the difference, right, when you're a kid. You don't understand. And now knowing what it is, I'd love to like do stuff to support them, like, and that's just a thing that's like selfish as well. With the Peter K thing, is like it just would be a great opportunity for me just to be in and around him in such an environment, and I'd love to do it. And I've supported Clinton Baptiste there from Phoenix Night, so it's something that I have done before. And again, I just honestly, it'd be amazing for me as someone who's really trying to make a career in stand-up comedy, really working towards that, and is dedicated to doing it. It'd be massive for me. Yeah, but it's not going to happen, is it? I don't think it's not going to be. I mean, touch wood, something comes out the woodwork and does happen, but yeah, it'd be great for me to do that. Yeah. What else has been going on? What have we got coming up this week? I was supposed to be in Coventry tomorrow, Thursday, the day this is going to drop. This is being recorded on Wednesday. I was supposed to be in Coventry at Sky Lounge, which is a shisha bar, but the gig has been cancelled, delayed for a month. It's going to be next month now, which I believe is going to be a Friday, the 16th of May. So if you're from the Coventry area, come and see me. I've actually got one mate from Coventry, but he's in Las Vegas now for WrestleMania, which we'll touch on WrestleMania in a bit. So he was going to come to the show, but he can't because he's in WrestleMania. So next month he'll be back. So touch wood again. Hopefully he'll be there, and it'd be nice to see him, and I can do stand-up comedy there, and that should be good. But yeah, Coventry. And then I'm supposed to be at Kersley Cricket Club on Saturday, But then I saw the poster for it the other day, and there's a different guy in my spot on the lineup, and I know that I replaced this guy on the lineup. So I don't know if this guy's back in and I'm out. I've not been told anything. Hopefully I just get a message on Friday the day before being like, listen, you're still on, here we go, let's go. And I'll go down and I'll do it, Kersley Cricket Club, which will be fun to get out there and perform in Kersley. Kersley's a place where I spent a lot of time in my childhood. So it'd be nice to get there and play like in front of a hometown crowd and play those Boltonian hits. This goes back to the Peter Kay thing as well. Is I've purposely got a lot of jokes in my set about Bolton and about loving being from Bolton. And I love that. So this is why that kind of thing would be great and amazing for me, because I love playing those kind of crowds, especially when it's something that's designed for Boltonians. On genuinely, like, I get like goosebumps, like just thinking about it. Like, it's something that for me would be like a legendary night in my life, not just career, my life would be something legendary for me. But there you go. It's one of those things, isn't it? You know, maybe something will come and go. Maybe it will. I don't know. I live in hope, though. I live in hope. I'm a dreamer, you see. I dream about big things. And I don't know if I mentioned last week, but I've been working on like some like treatments for TV shows and movies and stuff like that, because I want to broaden my horizons into thinking on a bigger level, and I want that stuff to feed into my stand-up. I want to be someone who you can put on a poster and goes, this is Adam Anwar from this TV show that he wrote, that he produced, he directed, whatever. Then he played one of the top characters, but not the main character, because I don't want to go over the top, right? He played one of the big characters. And boom, you can put my name on your poster and sell out. That's what I want to be. I want to be at that level where there's people who want to come and see me, because I want to put a show on for people. And when there's people who come specifically to see you, it genuinely means so much, and it's like such a like great relationship that you have with that kind of audience that comes specifically to see you. And like, yeah, it's buzzing when you get to do that, man. It is really, really buzzing. Oh, let's talk about this. This not a good thing that happened about Bolton. Yesterday there was a guy, he went on an armed rampage in Bolton, and he attacked two people with his thing that he had in his hand. I'm sure you can guess what it was. And CCTV footage came out the second attack. And there's a lad sat in the cafe by himself, minding his own business, when this older fella comes in. And I think the guy's around 30. I can't remember the younger guy, how old he was, but he's about 30. Then this older guy comes in, I believe he's like around 60. Comes in, very calmly walks right up to him, and boom, like right close to the heart, like right there. I don't think the guy had a lot of strength, bless him, which was an absolute blessing for the lad who was attacked. But the lad is shocked, because he's looking like that, and he's looking in his hand, and he sees what he's got in his hand like that, and he's checking himself, being like, oh my God, have I just been, like, am I leaking, let's just say there. And he gets up and boom, he starts giving it to the guy. They manage to disarm him. At first you can hear them going, get out, get out, get out. And then they realise, no, don't let him get out. Block the door and phone the police. And then that's what they do. They make the guy sit down. The guy who'd been attacked blocks the door. And the ladies work. I assumed it was a lady's voice, so it sounded like a lady's voice working there. I believe she phones the police, and he gets apprehended and caught. And it's scary, man. It's really, really scary. Because first of all, that happened walking distance from where I'm sat right now. I was walking distance from where I'm sat right now. And I get a bit emotional thinking about it, because my mum, I met up with my mum yesterday. I met up with my mum yesterday in Bolton, because she was dropping some stuff off to me. And then I think, like, what might have happened if he wasn't where he was in Tongmore? What if he'd done that in the town centre? What if he'd come across my mum? Because my mum's not strong enough to beat him up. My mum's an older lady now. She could have, she could have very easily come across this guy, and that could have been it. So it's horrendously frightening that this man was out in our community in Bolton and he did this. Now, usually when something like this happens, there will be a massive widespread outcry and people will be rallying together all on one side. Let's protect ourselves and protect everyone from these people who mean to do us harm. But it's not really the case with this. I've seen a lot of people in Bolton talking about it. A lot of people in Bolton really care about this because it's very scary, like I just said then. Very scary that this happened on our doorstep. Elderly parents, people with young children, really worry when we see things like this because you're like, you can't protect the people that you love all the time, can you? You just can't. Everyone's got to live our own lives. And you think that, I pray to God, I hope that they never run into somebody like that. So besides the people from Bolton talking about it, there was no mainstream media attention. The Bolton News covered it. I didn't see anything mainstream media. I didn't see anyone outside of the Greater Manchester area talk about it whatsoever. And it made me realise this horrible thing that, like, there's these people who make it their entire personality to talk about every time something like this happens, they talk about it. And when it was something in Bolton, and the guy turned out to be a white British man, they didn't talk about it. They don't care to talk about it. It's not something that's salacious enough for them. Whether it's an insidious thing where they're like, oh, I just want the views and the clicks and this ain't going to get views and clicks, or whether it's a thing of, no, I push an anti-immigrant narrative, so because he's not an immigrant, I'm not going to bother talking about it. I think it's absolutely disgusting. I think it's absolutely disgusting that people have selective outrage. These poor two people have just been attacked in our town, and you've got nothing to say about it. You've got no rallying cry. Let's get together. Let's figure out how to change this. The guy clearly had mental health issues. You don't do stuff like this if you don't have mental health issues and you don't have extreme mental health issues. Because what makes you carry one of them around the streets and start doing that to people? You've got to be something going on that's not the usual, right? You've got to have something going on. But as a society, if we just keep quiet about it when these things happen, then the next one will happen and the next one, and nothing gets solved and nothing gets changed. How do we attack this at the root? Now, this is one thing that I understand the anti-immigrant people. Because if you push this agenda, or if you have this agenda pushed on you, and every time you see an attack like this, it's a migrant, it's a brown person, it's a Muslim, whatever, then you're going to truly believe that it's only migrants, brown people and Muslims doing these things. So then you think the way to solve it is get rid of migrants, Muslims and brown people because it's the only people you see doing it. That's what you truly believe. But it's not the case. It's mentally unwell people that are doing these things. So what do? As a society, we shouldn't be roaming around the streets saying that we need to get rid of immigrants, we need to get rid of Muslims. We should be roaming around the streets saying we need something for people with mental health issues. We need a better thing, a better process, whatever, to support people with mental health issues and stop them from getting this far to the point where they're going to roam around and just do this to innocent people. It seemed like he was just doing it to anyone. This guy. It seemed like they didn't even know each other from the video, just because he looks up, he sees the guy walking and he doesn't think anything of it. It's not like you know when you see someone that you know that walks in, you go, oh, hiya, Jeff. What? It doesn't seem like that kind of situation. We should be banding together as a society in the UK, going, right, what do we do to help people with mental health issues? Because if we can eradicate as many mental health problems in the UK as possible, then we can eradicate a lot of these things as well, because that's the knock-on effect. Even the stuff with those people who do awful things to children, a lot of those had awful things done to them as a kid, and then they start to do those awful things again, which they shouldn't obviously do. But if we can get the support for them as children, then hopefully they wouldn't do it. How do we as a society just go, do you know what? It's easier to blame brown people, blame Muslims, blame immigrants. It's easier. I can see them. That's not challenging for me. I can see that they look different to me. I can go like a Terminator face. That's the person I've got a problem with there. It's harder with mental health issues. We need to be more in tune. We need to be more aware of these things. We need to be thinking of something. Those are the things that we should be rioting about. Those are the things that we should be gathering in the streets together. Black, white, brown, Muslim, Buddhist, Jewish, Hindu, I don't care what you are. We should all be getting together and go, do you know what? Let's solve this problem. Let's try and help as many people with mental health issues as possible so we see less things like this. And I guarantee you we get less things like this. I guarantee you if we solve those people who get those awful things due to them as children, then they perpetrate less. Not to say that all of them had it done to them as children, because some people just are generally messed up in the head and then they want... How do we solve that? I don't know. I'm not an expert. But these are things that I want to solve. I want to stop people getting assaulted in the street. I want to protect children in the UK. But just to go, it's Muslims and brown. It's not true and it's not correct, and it doesn't help if you address the issue the wrong way. You're not going to help the issue. Here's an example. There's a rainy day. You see a puddle next to your window inside your house. You go, there's water here in the house. I'm going to go check if the taps are all turned off. Because, okay, that's a smart enough thing to think. Water comes out of the taps. You go and you look. The taps are all turned off. And you think, well, I'm just going to keep going around the house, checking all the taps, making sure they're turned off. And that's what I'm going to do, because water comes from taps, and that's what I believe. Well, no. Water also comes from the outside, the rain, and the reason it's next to the window is because the window is open. All you need to do is look up and go, there was the problem right there. The window was open, I can close it. I didn't need to go around and look at where's all the water coming from. It comes from taps. No. You could have fixed that problem. You look at the actual cause of where it's going on. You don't look at it and go, oh, I'm going to pick and choose actually. There's a little bit of a dribble near the sink, so how about I just turn that off? I'm not going to bother closing my window. I'll just focus on one bit of water and then the other one. I'm not too bothered about it. No, obviously, you look at every single one and you see how can we do it. Tighten all the taps, close the windows. People are going to take that to me and close the borders, to be fair. But do you know what I mean? It really frustrates me when this becomes an issue about immigrants, brown people, Muslims, whatever it is, because it's an inaccurate description of what is leading to the problem. Of course, brown people, immigrants and Muslims commit crimes. Of course they do. They're not perfect humans. Nobody's perfect. Everyone from every subsection of society commits crimes. Poor people, wealthy people, thin people, large people, small people, short people, long people. Doesn't matter. People with one hand, people with 11 fingers. It doesn't really matter. People commit crimes. Don't just look at it and go, well, I'm going to look at the people with limbs missing and just make sure we stop them from committing crimes and then that's it. No, let's look at the thing. I'm on a rant here, sorry, but it is something that I really am passionate about, because I agree. This is the thing is, I agree with these people who say protect our women and children. I go, yeah, that's a great idea, and then they go, lock up all the brown people. I'm like, what the hell, mate? That's not the answer. That's not going to protect every woman and child. If we address the issues, again, I'm not an expert. I'm not saying this is exactly how you do it, but how about we hire some professionals to do it? How about we hire some people who are university educated and they've really analysed the root causes of these kind of things and go, okay, this is how we kind of eradicate these problems. X percent of people who experience this end up doing this. Okay, so how do we stop X percent of people experiencing that thing? Yeah, I don't know, a bit deep that, isn't it? A bit deep for a stand-up comedian on a podcast just ranting in his living room. Let's line it up a little bit. WrestleMania was this weekend, wearing my wrestling t-shirt here. Diesel, Big Daddy Cool, Shawn Michaels. Would love to meet Shawn Michaels one day. One very interesting thing that's happening about Shawn Michaels nowadays, I don't know if you've been seeing this, but Shawn Michaels now, he's an old guy. He's got his head shaved. One of his eyes is lazy. He's got like a stubbly beard. He's old and he's frail, right? He wears his big cowboy hat, so a lot of his face is covered by shadow. There's a lot of women on the internet sharing these like pictures and highlight videos of Shawn Michaels from the mid-90s being like, Shawn Michaels? Is that you? Whew, I was not familiar with... We all know Shawn Michaels was the sexy boy. Sexy boy! We know who Shawn Michaels was if we grew up in the 90s. This Shawn Michaels was legendary. He was a heartbreak kid. He was a heartthrob. Men wanted to be like him. Women wanted to be with him. Some men wanted to be with him as well, to be fair. But you know what I mean? He was that kind of level. People didn't know, though. People weren't familiar. And it's interesting seeing people rediscover mid-90s Shawn Michaels and be like, oh, clutching the pearls, being like, Shawn Michaels, well, I never, Mr. Michaels. Am I good at impressions? I'm not. I need to. I used to be good at impressions, but I'm not anymore. I remember I got hyped up by one of my teachers in school once my English teacher in first year, year 7, because I did a voice called BB9 and it was like a robot voice. And she's like, I don't know, she's really good, that. And I was a kid that didn't engage in much in school, so it probably was just a bang average. But she's probably trying to like motivate me to actually get involved and do stuff. So like, BB9, this is my voice, I am coming to do this. And it was BB9 had arrived at a school or something. I can't remember the actual, my head teacher's a robot or alien or something along those lines. And yeah, I remember that. Shout out to Fern Miles, who I used to sit next to in class, man. R.I.P. Fern Miles. Yeah, she was a good kid, man. That's sad to think about. That's made me a bit sad. WrestleMania, anyway. Let's go back to WrestleMania. Yeah, had a lot of death in the last few weeks. Let's talk about something a bit more positive today. WrestleMania. WrestleMania for me, right? I grew up a massive fan of wrestling. And I'm not going to get into too much into the details of wrestling, but I'm just going to tell you the human story of me being a wrestling fan. So I grew up as a kid, and it's something that I gravitated on TV. I remember the first time seeing it on TV, Doink the Clown versus Kamala. This is a match, and the story of the match is like Kamala's a Ugandan giant. He doesn't speak English, and he's plodding along. And Doink the Clown is a clown, obviously, and they're having this jokey kind of match. But as a child, I thought this, oh my goodness me, this is the height of art. That's what I thought as a child. I mean, it is. Pro wrestling is the height of art, but I thought that as a kid as well. So I've loved pro wrestling since I was a kid. I made my best friends through wrestling. Like, the ones I talk with now, quite often we'll go to wrestling shows together, we'll catch up about wrestling, we'll communicate about it. It's something that we really have in common. It's something that we love together as kids, playing with the figures, watching the TV show, playing the video games, wrestling in the sand pit on the school playground, well, the school like track and field basically, the school field. Playing fields, there we go, I stumbled upon it finally. So I used to love wrestling. It's something that I've always loved in my life. It's something that my mum, she could sit and watch it and she could get into it. I remember my auntie, as a kid, who didn't speak great English. She spoke some English, but not great English. But she could sit there with me and like enjoy watching the wrestling because it's a physical art form. Anyone can understand the story that they're telling. My granddad, when he first came from Poland, and then when my mum first came over as a kid, my granddad would take my mum to the wrestling shows. It's something that's been in my family now for literally 3 generations, being a wrestling fan. And I love it, right? WrestleMania is the biggest show of the year. It's like the World Cup. It's like the Eurovision Song Contest. It's like the Olympics. It's like the Doctor Who Christmas special. Whichever one that you're into, you know what I mean, right? WrestleMania is the big one. I look forward to it all year. I watched it, and it was like average. Don't get me wrong, it was good because I love wrestling and I love watching it. But for something that you look forward to, oh yeah, something that's supposed to be the big highlight, you're just like, this was just like kind of any other episode. There were some things that were really good, some real high points in it. But for the most part, you just watched it and were like, I wish this was better. And my mate who went from commentary, I went to WrestleMania with him twice. I've been 4 times, right? And he said to me, do you fancy coming? You should come. And I was like, and ahhing about it, and I decided not to because of what's going on in America, and it's not really a great place to be a Muslim right now. So I thought, I'm a bit wary of it. And Las Vegas is a very expensive place. WWE have pumped up the ticket prices. I thought, I'm going to stay away. And then I realised, I was like, oh, actually, I'm glad I didn't go. Because if I would have paid thousands of pounds to travel to Las Vegas, to go and sit there 2 nights in a row, watch all of this, I don't think I would have enjoyed myself like that much. And obviously, you'd enjoy yourself because you're on holiday and it's WrestleMania, but I don't think I'd enjoy myself like 3 or 4 grand's worth of enjoyment, which is what it would have cost me. So I'm so glad that I didn't go. It was a disappointment, but I still enjoyed watching it. And I'm still a wrestling fan, and I will keep watching. And even Hulk Hogan's new documentary is dropping on Netflix, I believe, today. At the time of recording, Wednesday. So when this is finished, I'm going to watch that. Football's getting really exciting. City is back looking like they're going to win the Premier League. Although I thought it for a few weeks. Again, I'm not going to get into the weeds about football. But Arsenal are like the person at work who's like always going for promotion. Always going for promotion and never gets the promotion. And they've been there for ages. And everyone else is new in the job and then they get the promotion. And Arsenal are the ones that get so close and they get down to the final 2 and they don't get it. And this year, they were getting through all the interview processes and they were doing well and they were smashing it. And now we're at the final one. It looks like they're going to miss out once again on promotion. And Man City are going to win the league and get the promotion in the work. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. And Arsenal fans, I've been crying about it. They've been crying about it. And I used to be an Arsenal fan. So I like to keep an eye on what they do because I still have that interest in them and I still follow them, but I don't support them anymore. There's a difference between following and supporting, right? So yeah, it's interesting to see. I'm excited to see what happens the last few weeks of the season because football's amazing. I love football so much. Now, I'm also really looking forward to the World Cup coming up. One thing that did happen with me this week, though, let's talk about this, is my episode of 5 white people versus 1 Pakistani dropped. Now, if you've not seen it, I think you'll enjoy it. It's a nice, fun watch, and I genuinely think it's very needed in the current climate. So the idea of the show is you've got a panel of Pakistani judges, British Pakistanis, right? And there's a blind date style divider between them and the contestants. And then the contestants are, on this one, it was actually 6 white people and 1 Pakistani. Now, I was one of the white people, not one of the Pakistanis, right? Which a lot of my friends were going, why weren't you the Pakistani? You should have been the Pakistani. I said, yeah, but for what is essentially just, it's a show, it's basically a TV show, but it's a YouTube show, gets good views. Well, touch wood, it's going to get good views, this one. It's all about visuals and how it looks to people. So if someone is brown and has a British Asian name or a Pakistani name, then it's more easily identifiable to the audience and it's easier to follow along. Now, I won't spoil the ending for you, but you can watch it yourself and it was a really, really fun watch. I even enjoyed watching it, going back and watching it and looking to see, did I get any highlights in here? Did I get any good clips and that kind of thing? So it was fun. It was a fun watch, but recording it was very interesting. Because you're on one side of the divider, they're on the other, and you're trying to go back and forth, and you're trying to create funny moments. But being a stand-up comedian, I know you can't force things, and when you try to force things, it doesn't work. So some of the other contestants were trying to force things, and it wasn't working. And some of the contestants got it, and they didn't force things, and they had things lined up. So here's a good trick, right? And here's something in stand-up comedy that you get good at, is you lay foundation. So I'll say something, expecting them to say something back, so then boom, I can hit them with the punchline. So, here's a good example of it. Here's the oldest one in the book. Why did the chicken cross the road? The next person goes, I don't know. Why did the chicken cross the road? And then boom, punchline to get to the other side. Or knock, knock. You saying that knowing that they're going to go, who's there? And then you're going to go, doctor. They're going to go, doctor who? And they go, exactly, doctor who? You're saying the one thing knowing, or hoping at least, that they're going to give you the setup for your punchline, but they don't know that. With those 2 ones, not knock who's there and why did the chicken cross the road, those 2 are a very common one, so everyone knows what's coming, right? Everyone knows that's a setup. However, there's some things that you can do to set things. Here's one thing that didn't come off, right? So when I was on there, I told them my name was Rocky Hussain, bro, because in the lockdown, I created this character called Rocky Hussain. Now, I said that I was laying the foundations for them to ask me, okay, Rocky Hussain, what's your job? And I was going to say, I'm an MMA fighter. And then I was hoping that then they would ask me, okay, what's your record? And I go, well, I'm undefeated at the moment. They'd be like, wow, undefeated, how many fights you had? I'd be like, well, I've actually had none. And that would have been the funny thing, right? But they didn't ask me what my job was. So my entire name, which then was to build into this, they didn't ask me for. So, and the thing, it looks like I just created a fake name for no reason. But it is what it is. I also told him I was from Accrington because on the other side, I saw him coming in. And I don't think he saw me, at least I was Tez Ilyas. Now, me and Tez, we've gigged together numerous times. We've known each other for years now. So I know that if I'm on the other side, I go, hiya, my name's Adam, I'm from Bolton. He's like, I know that voice. That's Adam Anwar. So I couldn't do that, right? So in the build-up, I was like, right, I'm going to say I'm from Accrington. I'm from Accrington, bro. And then I was going to get them to say, okay, what's your ring name? And I was going to say, I'm from Aki, if you know what I'm saying. And that was going to be one of my punchlines that I had set up. However, they didn't ask me. They didn't have it. We didn't go with that one. So, and there was a few things that I kind of was setting up for and laying traps. Some of the things they did walk into, so they go, number one, in the Pakistani, I'm like, yeah, well, it depends who's asking. If it's somebody who's trying to kick me out of the country, no, that was, one of my lines that I had coming up. So some of the things I was able to slide in, some of the things that I wasn't. But either way, you You should check it out. If you just type in 5 white people or 5 white versus 1 Pakistani, it will come up on the thing. It will come up on it. It's this week's episode. And yeah, it's a good one. It has like maybe like 20,000 views in the first 24 hours, which is good. Like 1,000 views an hour, it's good. If we get to the end of the week like that, it'll have at least 20, 30. It's already on 20. Yeah, so it's going in the right direction. But yeah, it was a lot of fun filming it. It was a lot of fun also being in that space with a lot of British Asian creators. Like, I don't really see myself as a content creator, but I do see myself as a creator because obviously I'm a stand-up comedian. I create artistically that way. Whereas a lot of these are in the social media world. So like Rafi was there, if you know Rafi. He did the one video where he's like, he goes to the takeaway and the guy goes, do you want still or sparkling water? He's like, I want sparkling. Still. And he's like, you know, because still is like a slang term. So he did that video. Rashi was there, Rashi Flex, if you know Rashi Flex. Rashi's the one who's like, and my cousin, yeah, he's asking me to put Noz in his car. I go, listen, yeah, we're not putting Noz in your car. I'll install it for free. And I'm like, what? I can't even do it. I can't even get that kind of range in my voice. He was on it. Z Dots was on it. Frenzo Harami was on it. So obviously Tez, obviously Halal Hamu's in it, and his daughter Lamise. Being in this space with these other British Asian creators, I liked that. I liked making these kind of connections with these people because I was like, okay, it's good. I like to put my own people on. I also like to put Bolton people on. So then I had that thought this week and I did a video saying, listen, if you're from Bolton, if you want to get involved in social media, if you're over 18, get in touch with me. If you're watching this right now, get in touch. If you've got an idea and I can help you make it happen, let's make it happen together. Let's do it. Let's record. If you want to produce stuff, let's get producing. If you just want to write stuff for me, do that. Let's get you a foot in the door. Let's get you writing stuff. Then maybe you get the confidence to do it yourself. Maybe then you want to charge other people once you got the stuff, what they call the back catalogue, and be like, oh, I've written for this video, I got this many views. Then you can maybe write. If whatever you want to do, let's help you. Maybe it's such a success. I go, do you know what? I'm writing. I'm not letting you go. You're writing for me from now on. I'm paying you. So you never know. Either way, let's kind of have this conversation. If you're from Bolton, you want to be a creator. Because I want to put Bolton people on. I do want to support Bolton people and go that route. And I think, guys, that's support. I think I'm going to go upstairs. I'm going to watch myself some Hulk Hogan documentary. I might watch the City game tonight. That'll be interesting. Yeah, if you've enjoyed this, hit the follow button, like, subscribe, send me a comment saying how nice me pink hat is, whatever you want to do. But either way, I'll see you next week with the next one.